Have you ever hugged someone and felt absolutely nothing? Just two people politely leaning in, waiting for it to be over. Now imagine the kind of hug that lingers in his mind long after it ends. Not because of what you said, but because of how you touched him. That's the difference between a moment he forgets and one he replays over and over in his head. You don't need to be louder, flashier, or bolder. You just need to be more deliberate. Because when your touch carries warmth, steadiness, meaning, and calm, it becomes magnetic. And that's exactly what makes him crave your energy even after you've walked away. Most people think attraction lives in looks or words, but true emotional pull happens through presence, through the way someone feels when they're near you. So today, I want to show you how to turn an ordinary hug into something unforgettable without saying a single word. Stay with me until the end, because the final touch I'll describe is the one that leaves a quiet mark in his memory long after he's let go. If this already feels eye-opening, tap that like button and keep listening, because what's coming next will show you how to make your touch stay with him for days. Let me tell you something most people never talk about. A hug, yes, just a simple hug, has the power to stir desire in a man in ways you might not even imagine. And it's not about being physical, nor is it about crossing lines or being inappropriate. It's about creating a moment that feels so genuine, so emotionally rich, that it stays in his thoughts long after it's done. When you know how to touch a man during a hug the right way, you stop being just another person he's met. You become the one he can't stop thinking about, because when he remembers that hug, his body remembers you too, your warmth, your energy, your essence. And the truth is, men don't crave what's easy to forget. They crave what leaves an imprint, what touches something deep inside their emotions. That's why understanding the art of touch during a hug matters so much. The right touch is like planting a small seed in his imagination. He might not talk about it, he might act like nothing happened, but his mind will replay that moment again and again. And the more it replays, the stronger the pull becomes. Most people don't hug with intention. They hug the same way they'd greet a distant cousin. Quick, polite, and instantly forgettable. But that's not the kind of hug you want to give. You want to leave a trace, a subtle emotional fingerprint that makes him think, wait, what just happened? Why do I want more of that? That's where subtlety becomes powerful. It's not about being obvious. It's about communicating through touch, quietly saying, I see you, I feel you, and I know how to make a moment last. So, let's talk about the 5 kinds of touches during a hug that make him crave more. These aren't just gestures, they're emotional triggers that tap into what men deeply desire: connection, contrast, and mystery. The first one is the linger. When most people hug, they pat twice and pull away right away. But if you want him to feel something deeper, hold on just a second longer. That small pause changes everything. It transforms a casual hug into something charged with meaning. It moves the moment from nice to see you to I'm not ready to let go yet. That tiny delay creates a spark, a silent curiosity that makes him wonder, why did she hold me like that? And that's where craving begins, because he doesn't just feel the hug, he feels your presence. He senses your quiet confidence, your warmth, and the calm energy that radiates from you. It's rare for men to experience that, a woman who's both soft and grounded at the same time. You don't have to say a single word. Your touch speaks for you. But remember, balance is key. Hold on too long, and it feels like you're clinging. Hold just enough, and it feels powerful. That's where the magic happens, in that small, perfect balance between closeness and restraint. The second touch is the graze. This happens as the hug ends, when your fingers lightly glide across his back, his arm, or his side just before you let go. That tiny movement isn't an accident. It's like a whisper spoken through skin, a subtle message that says, I'm aware of this moment. Most people just drop their arms and step back, but when your fingers gently trace across him, it wakes something up inside. It's not a big move, it's a flicker, a tease, a barely there brush that lingers in his awareness. He might not even fully register it at first, but later he'll think about how that moment felt different. Picture your fingertips gliding slowly down his back as you pull away. It's not dramatic, it's natural, almost like your bodies share a quiet secret. That's why it stays with him. Secrets, especially unspoken ones, are hard to forget. The third touch is the anchor. This one happens during the hug itself. It's when you place your hand with gentle firmness on a meaningful spot, maybe the back of his neck, the middle of his back, or just above his waist. That steady, grounded pressure sends a powerful signal to his body. You're safe here. You might think men don't need that kind of reassurance, but even the strongest ones crave it. That one anchored touch makes him feel centered, grounded, and seen. He might not consciously realize why it feels different, he just knows it does. Confidence is the secret ingredient here. Your touch shouldn't tremble or hesitate. It should feel calm and sure, like you're fully present in that moment. That quiet certainty is magnetic. It separates the kind of hug he forgets from the kind he replays in his mind when he's alone later. Now imagine all three together: the linger, the graze, and the anchor. You hug him, you stay just a second longer, you anchor him with a steady hand, then let your other hand graze his back as you slowly move away. In that brief moment, you've created a full emotional sequence. His body remembers it, even if his mind can't explain it. The next time he sees you, he won't just want to say hello. He'll feel that quiet pull, that subtle ache to experience that same warmth again. That's what craving really is. It's not rational, it's instinctive. It bypasses logic and goes straight to his emotional memory. But we're not done yet. The next two touches take things even deeper. They don't just create attraction, they shift how he feels about you. These are the touches that make him look at you differently, not just as a friend or someone pleasant to be around, but as someone who affects him in ways he can't explain. Now comes the fourth touch, the whisper touch. This one is gentle, slow, and incredibly powerful. It plays with his senses and his mind at the same time. The whisper touch is when your hand doesn't stay still on his back, but instead moves, just slightly, just enough to awaken a deeper awareness. It's not a graze, which happens at the end, and it's not an anchor, which is firm. The whisper touch sits right between the two. It's as if your hand is communicating silently, without words, through motion. For example, while you're hugging him, keep one hand steady on his back, while the other slowly slides just an inch or two across a sensitive area. That small, almost imperceptible movement creates a wave of awareness inside him. Why? Because his mind can't categorize it as just a hug anymore. It feels deliberate, curious, and intimate, almost like a private signal meant only for him. Men are naturally drawn to contrast. When every touch feels the same, it fades into the background. But when your touch carries variation, stillness mixed with movement, firmness balanced with softness, it stirs something primal in him. It feels alive. When one hand feels steady while the other feels unpredictable, his whole body begins to notice. Humans are drawn to what catches them off guard. When you speak to his body through your touch, you create tension, the kind that makes him feel something new. He starts to wonder, was that on purpose? Did she mean to do that? That tiny bit of uncertainty keeps him replaying the moment over and over in his head. And the more he replays it, the more he wants to experience it again, just to find the answer his mind couldn't figure out. The real power of the whisper touch is in restraint. You don't need to make it dramatic or obvious. You stop at that perfect second, right when he begins to feel something shift. You give him just a glimpse, not the full picture. Think of it like a movie trailer. The best trailers don't reveal the whole movie. They just show enough to make you want more. That's exactly how the whisper touch works. It's like a preview of the emotional closeness he could feel with you. It's not about being loud or bold. It's about being calm, focused, and aware of the moment you're creating. That's how a simple hug turns into something unforgettable. It's never about trying too hard. It's about using small, intentional gestures that say more than words ever could. When you truly learn these touches, the linger, the graze, the anchor, and the whisper, you create a rhythm that draws him in without saying a single thing. And the best part, you stay fully in control of the moment. He leaves feeling something he can't quite explain, and that mystery becomes the spark that pulls him back toward you. And once you master that, you won't even need to put in extra effort. His own imagination will start working for you. Now we reach the fifth and final touch, the claim. This one's a little more daring, but it's also the most powerful of all. The claim happens when, for just a moment during the hug, you place your hand somewhere that makes him feel chosen, wanted, even claimed, but still in a soft, feminine way. Maybe it's sliding your hand gently to the back of his head, letting your fingers move through his hair as you draw him closer. Or maybe it's resting your hand firmly against the side of his ribs, just under his arm, a spot where very few people ever touch him. It could even be a light press on the small of his back, pulling him in for a heartbeat. That small move sends a very clear message. I want you here, close to me. Most men aren't used to being claimed like that. They're usually the ones who take the lead, who pull a woman in. But when you reverse that dynamic, even for a moment, it catches him off guard. It sends a rush through him because suddenly he's not just the one who desires, he's the one being desired. And when a man feels desired, everything changes. It reaches deep into a place he doesn't often get touched. Not his body, but his pride, his sense of being wanted as a man. Without words, you're saying, "You're the one I choose." That kind of message stays with him long after the hug ends. He might not realize it immediately, but his body remembers that moment, that instant he felt claimed by you. The next time he's near you, he'll lean in without thinking. He'll want to feel that again, the validation of being chosen once more. Now let's put it all together. You might wonder, it's just a hug. How could something so small make him crave me? But that's exactly what most people miss. A hug isn't just a hug. It's one of the rare natural moments where full body closeness feels completely normal. It's the only time you can send a wave of emotion, comfort, and connection in a few seconds without speaking a single word. Yet most people waste that opportunity. They hug like they're greeting a friend, or they pull away too soon because they're nervous, afraid of seeming too forward. But when you hug him with real intention, using those 5 touches, linger, graze, anchor, whisper, and claim, you turn something ordinary into something unforgettable. Here's what happens deep down. Men crave moments that make them feel special. If he feels you hug everyone the same way, he won't think twice about it. But if he senses your touch feels different, your presence feels focused, calm, and full of attention, he'll feel singled out. And being singled out like that is addictive. Picture him later that night, sitting alone, replaying it in his mind. He remembers how your fingers moved across his back, how your hand anchored him, how you pulled him a little closer for just one more second. Now he's restless, wondering why he can't stop thinking about you. It's not because you did too much, it's because you did just enough. That's the real secret. You don't make a man crave you by giving him everything right away. You create craving by leaving space between what he felt and what he still wants to feel. You give him a small taste of connection, then you step away. You let him sit in that gap, in that space, and that's where desire grows. Once you understand how to hug in a way that stirs something deeper, you don't need to try to impress him with anything else. You don't need to dress differently or overdo your effort. You've already made an imprint on him. Now he's the one doing the craving. But there's one more truth. These touches only work if they come from the right place inside you. If you do them to control him or out of fear he'll lose interest, it won't have the same power. He'll feel the tension behind it, the insecurity, What makes these touches truly irresistible is when they come from confidence, from calm, playful energy, and a sense of self-worth. The Linger works because you're comfortable enough to stay. The Graze works because you're light-hearted enough to tease. The Anchor works because you're steady enough to make him feel grounded. The Whisper works because you're secure enough to leave him wondering. And the Claim works because you already know you're desirable. You're not trying to prove it. That kind of quiet confidence is what men truly crave. Think back to the last time someone hugged you and was fully present. You felt it, didn't you? You noticed it because it stood out from all the quick, distracted hugs before. Men notice it too. They sense presence. They know when your body language says, "I see you, I'm right here." And when they feel that, they don't just crave the hug. They crave you. So remember this, never treat a hug as a small or polite gesture. Don't rush through it like it means nothing. See every hug as your canvas. Each one is a chance to leave an impression that lasts longer than words. Use the Linger, use the Graze, use the Anchor, use the Whisper, and yes, use the Claim. You don't need to use them all every time. Mix them, shift between them, keep him curious. That little bit of mystery is what keeps him hooked. It's what separates you from everyone else. It's what puts you in the "I can't stop thinking about her" category. And once you're there, trust me, you become unforgettable. That's the quiet truth about why most women never realize the hidden power of a hug. It's because most people have been taught that intimacy only comes from big gestures, from kisses, romantic moments, or bold actions that scream passion. But the real secret is something quieter. Men crave the small, gentle moments just as deeply, sometimes even more. A hug, when done right, is the simplest way to awaken emotion, the softest act that can stir the loudest reaction in both his heart and his body. Imagine this, he's been waiting to see you all day. You open the door and his whole face lights up. He steps forward, arms open, and you walk into him. Most people would hug quickly and pull away, but you know the art. You know how to turn that small moment into something unforgettable. You melt into him for one extra second. That's the Linger. His mind says, "Wait, don't let go yet." You steady him with a calm hand on his back. Suddenly he feels safe, he feels grounded. As you start to step away, your fingers slide gently along his back. That faint trail of touch sends a quiet shiver through him. Then, just when he thinks it's over, your hand moves one last time in a soft, slow motion, a whisper of touch, as if your body still has something left to say, even as you leave. And before you walk away completely, your palm presses once more into the small of his back. That's the Claim. That last second, that simple move says everything without a single word. He feels wanted, he feels noticed, he feels chosen. And what's amazing is he doesn't even realize why he feels it so deeply. All he knows is that he wants more. That's how craving begins. Not when you give him everything, but when you leave just a trace, a taste that lets his imagination build the rest. Men live in their imagination. They replay moments, a touch, a glance, a small spark, over and over like a favorite song. And if your hug carries all 5 of those touches, you've given him the most powerful gift you can give a man. 5 simple ways to touch him so he keeps thinking about you, something his mind can't stop replaying. Think about it. Every man has hugged many people in his life. He knows what an ordinary hug feels like. He knows polite. He knows distant. But when your hug feels different, it's not just better. It's something else entirely. It stands out. And people crave what stands out. We don't get attached to what's average. We're drawn to what feels rare. You become the person he silently compares everyone else to. That's the effect you create when you know how to touch him during a hug. But let's be clear, this isn't about being physical too soon. It's not about using your hug to manipulate or control. It's about being truly present. It's saying without words, "I'm right here with you." That's what men long for most. not just physical closeness, but emotional connection. Because while physical touch is easy, emotional depth is rare. Most men are quietly starving for a woman who knows how to connect in those in-between moments, not just the obvious ones. Picture this. He's walking away after that hug. He's heading to his car, his heart still beating fast. He turns the key, but instead of thinking about errands or plans, he's thinking about you, about the way your hand lingered a moment longer, the way your touch felt different, the way you pulled him in like you truly meant it. He replays it in his head. His imagination fills in the spaces between what happened and what could happen. He wonders if you meant it. He wonders if you're thinking of him too. That wondering turns into craving. That craving turns into desire. And that desire makes him want to chase you. Here's the truth. Once you know how to touch him during a hug in a way that awakens craving, you'll never have to chase him again. You won't need to prove your worth. You won't have to try too hard. You won't need to convince him to see your value. His body already knows it. His body already responds to your presence. And when his body wants you, his mind follows. He'll text you more often, call you sooner, and find reasons to see you again. Not because you played games, but because you gave him something real. Let's look at why this truly works. The male body reacts strongly to contrast. When every hug feels the same, quick, polite, mechanical, his senses stay quiet. But when your hug mixes soft and firm, stillness and motion, holding and releasing, you create contrast. And contrast wakes him up. It sparks his curiosity. And curiosity is the foundation of attraction. When he's curious about you, you don't have to demand attention. His curiosity naturally pulls him in. Here's something most women don't realize. Men want to feel desired just as much as women do. They want to feel chosen, not just the ones doing the choosing. When you claim him through your hug, even for a second, you give him that rare experience. You shift the pattern. And when a man feels that shift, it leaves a mark. In a world that tells men to always be strong, to lead, to pursue, a woman's quiet touch that says, "I choose you too," becomes unforgettable. And anything rare becomes irresistible. So think about it next time you hug him. Don't rush through it. Pause, breathe, feel him. Ask yourself, what do I want this hug to say? If it's just polite, that's fine. Give him polite. But if you want him to remember you, if you want him to crave you even after you walk away, then hug him with purpose. Let it linger. Be steady, graceful, and real. Let your body say what words can't. Every small part of that hug should tell a story. A story of connection, curiosity, warmth. A story that plays in his mind hours later when he's lying in bed, scrolling through his phone, wondering why he can't stop thinking about you. And here's the real lesson that will change everything. Once you truly get this, it's no longer about making him crave you. It's about understanding your own power. It's about realizing that deep connection doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing small things with full presence. When you hug him this way, you're not only creating attraction, you're stepping into your own strength. You remind yourself that you can make someone feel deeply without trying too hard. That kind of quiet confidence is the most attractive energy there is. So remember this. The next time you find yourself in his arms, don't underestimate that moment. Don't treat it like it's just another hug, because there's no such thing as just a hug. There are forgettable ones, and there are unforgettable ones. And when you know how to touch him the right way, you become unforgettable. You become the woman who lingers in his mind, in his memory, long after you're gone. Once you're there, he'll do anything to feel that connection again. And if this message gave you a moment of clarity, if it helped you see closeness in a new way, don't stop here. Hit that subscribe button right now, because every week I share deep insights about love, attraction, and emotional connection that most people never talk about. And trust me, the next one will take you even deeper.